already, Ryan. Fire and Ice is leading 1-0. A great start overall. Fire and Ice is going to be stacking up 3 strong down low to retake Bravo. Quarantine has a minor lead. And if this break for Fire and Ice works, that could be hugely beneficial. Fiercely, though, that new pickup doing a great job slaying out. As soon as say that he gets chunked, but that's all right. Exploits Fiercely. Choche will drop off. That opens up the doorway for Quarantine. They're going to continue to use this momentum to push over towards A and maybe get a trip cap if possible. But first, Icy has to win this fight down low on the B God, and he's going to manage to do so, holding his own.
Yeah, good start from Quarantine on round number 2. Of course, these are pretty long spawns, so if the team's able to get a lot of early numbers, they can very quickly head over to the opposing home hill. It looks like Fire and Ice have chosen to make their way over towards the neutral. The Train is going to make his first appearance of the round. The Conductor is going to take no lives this time. Solar is going to wrap right around, clean up that kill onto Crystallize now. He's going to be met by Choche. Mortify is going to come right around. Good teamwork coming through from Quarantine, starting to move together. Again, another brand new team, right? We know the UIU team is new. This is a new team as well, so a lot of work for these guys to do to get on the same page to kind of become one unit again.
Exploits onto Mortify. Solar's dropping as well. He's going to get finished. Opens up the door for Fire and Ice now to rotate back just to gain their own home hill. An awkward fight between B-God and Icy. Icy secures it, focuses attention onto not only Rushies but Franchise. B-God doing a great job spacing out Quarantine as Quarantine just goes into the blender, if you will. Now that's going to open up the door for them to be all over Charlie. Quarantine now in a very awkward position. Fire and Ice looking to go for the domination. They get this. They're going to be leading 2-0, and that's going to be a huge lead. Not only for the fact that, obviously, they're playing objectively considerably well, but they're slaying out and easily. Quarantine can't even get a touch. Fire and Ice does a great job holding them back, and they now lead 2-0.
One thing to keep in mind, Taylor, when it comes to this Fire and Ice team, they got a little more to play for today. Obviously, they have a new roster they want to put on, but it is their owner's birthday. It is Zonner's birthday today. If Zonner, if you're in the chat, big happy birthday. A huge supporter of the Gears of War scene. So Fire and Ice got a little extra to play for today. They got to, give their owner a nice birthday present making that grand finals.
That's the reason why they're playing out of their mind. Hey, listen, sometimes you got to do it for the owner, You got to go through big. I know Fire and Ice, it's a great organization. It's a great team. They've got the best skins in the game. They're doing a lot of things right. Now all we need to do is just get them up just a little bit more with Fiercely and break kind of the top 16 that they've been getting. Obviously, a little bit better, though, over Mexico with top 4. They did a great job. Now all they need to do is make a grand final. I think it's 100% possible, especially heading into Texas. But it starts off tonight. Beating Quarantine would be a great start to this new roster.
Absolutely. As we head on to Exploits. To me, man, Exploits has just been the guy that made the difference on this Fire and Ice team. They really elevated themselves to a new level after that initial change. And he's going to continue to make plays like this. This team will be just fine despite losing Raver. Looks like Quarantine on the other end, though, is going to get a set of downs. It's going to take out both Exploits and Crystallize, looking to move their way over towards B. Franchise and Solars. Warms my heart to see those two moving together on the map again. Two of my teammates from the old NV days, so nice to see Solars come back home with the family. And right now, though, it looks like Choche is trying to end the family dream over at B. Solars does come out on top, though.
Good job for Solars, holding his own against the family, as you dubbed them. Still that battle for Bravo taking place. Fire and Ice quickly stacking back up despite losing a couple of members. They know how important it is to lock in this neutral hill. Quarantine with a minor lead, but they had this minor lead off the initial in that last round. But now in round 3, it could be a different story. Quarantine, they've got to have a strong hold here, and you can only imagine Fire and Ice with the utility being thrown. They're now going for that push. Exploits. Great push onto Solars. He'll go ahead and solidify that finish. Fiercely is going to get dropped himself. Rushies softened up with the Lance of Fire. But with the rest of the team from Fire and Ice falling apart, Exploits, he has no choice. He's got to back up, and he's going to do just that and find a different line of attack if he can to try and maybe take out a couple of these members from Quarantine. A good hold for the entire side of Quarantine in general.
And Quarantine continues to build a lead, about 40 points now as both teams cross the 100-point mark. You see on the top of your screen that win condition obviously favoring Quarantine with that 2 cap. B-God tries his best to get out. Team Fire is going to come through. With that finish, you got to wonder right now if you're B-God, do you? Obviously, he still has 4 out of 4. He can spawn back in. One of the few players with quite a few respawns actually. Look at kind of both sides. You're going to see Fiercely with 2, Crystallize with 2, Choche with 2, and everyone else looking pretty healthy over the side of Fire and Ice. And a nice Incend being used by Crystallize. It's going to take Rushies right off the B hill. The unfortunate part for Fire and Ice, though, Taylor, is the fact that, like I said, you see the win condition at the top of your screen. Quarantine still does win, holding the single hill.
You got to imagine Fire and Ice is going to make one more desperation push forward if it doesn't work. I couldn't see them respawning back in. Almost looking like new life up top, but there's Fire and Ice just continues to fall down, and yeah, that's going to be it. Quarantine holds on, and that's going to be the domination. Fire and Ice is going to go ahead and give it up, and as they should. And that's okay, you know, 2-1 is going to be the scoreline. Fire and Ice still won the first 2 rounds, and heading into the last round of the half, they've looked solid. If they can at least win this next one, being up 3-1 going into the second half is going to be absolutely monumental against powerhouse teams such as Quarantine. So we're going to have to see how that's going to work out. Last round of the half, about to go down, shortest respawns, and everybody looking pretty solid when it comes to respawns. So nothing really to worry about, whether it's Quarantine or Fire and Ice. And some good utilities. No reason to see a drop shot or a boom on the map. Overall, it's just been pretty much a gun battle.
3 rounds in and no bull talk.
That is true. That is very.
I don't like it.
That is very true. I'm sure we'll see one, especially if they keep trading rounds like this.
I'm sure we'll see 2, maybe even 3. Do I hear 4?
Okay, I don't know.
We saw 4 last time.
We saw 4 on exhibit. Saw 4 on exhibit, and it definitely benefited the men on Rise 100% against UIU. Little standoff on to Bravo. Utility's going to be thrown out. Ensign does miss, but it forces Franchise up into the Lancer Fire. He's going to get dropped to all 4s. Pickup will happen. Solar's up there. Mortifying Fiercely now into a 1v1 battle. Fiercely will go ahead and back up. Franchise pushes up, and that's not what you want to do against a man such as Fiercely. He's going to get punished around the corner. Mortify is also going to drop himself. Can we get a third? Yes, we can. Solars goes down. Fiercely is on a killing spree, and that opens up the door to rotate onto the flank of Quarantine, who is now going to be absolutely blindsided as well. I thought he would be, but Rushy's a little bit smarter and quick to pull the trigger. Will take him down.
Yeah, and Fiercely's going to have to make big plays like that. Of course, filling those big shoes of Raver, and he made a lot of big plays on Estral. You already know he can do the same exact thing on this Fire and Ice team. As Rush and Icy continue to try to hold down this spawn. Fiercely's not going to expect that, and Rush is going to move forward. He knows he has some early damage on B-God. He's kind of pinning him back, right? The trip cap's underway. It's going to force B-God's hand. Misses a couple shots, so B-God makes him pay, but Icy's there for the trade. Icy's have to win one more fight, I would say. Ring around the rosy comes through, but it is the king himself who comes out on top. Fire and Ice live to fight another day.
Yes, they do, but for how long? Still early on. I guess if you wanted to have that series of events come through where you were risking a domination being used against you, well, you might as well have it when the scoreline is so low. But another push like that from Quarantine, that will set them up quite nicely. Crystallize, unfortunately, gets dropped down. You see a couple more players coming through. Franchise getting into the mix. Unfortunately, Icy will take Franchise out. B-God will finish him off. And just like that, F&I, 5 go down. Quarantine, tie it up 2-2 going into the second half.
That second half, you know what that means, Taylor? Our favorite fight.
Push and pull fight up top.
So one of the players I was talking about that didn't like that fight was actually Franchise.
Okay.
He's one of those players. He just said he didn't enjoy that fight so much as a player. I think it's a blast to watch. So.
Well, he's got to embrace it now.
So he's got no choice but to like it, pal. 2-2.
This is it. And on tracks, maybe a drop shot or a boom. No, it's going to be a shock grenade down low. But even so, the shock being placed down low is going to make that fight awkward. You're going to have to allocate resources. And it's already been upgraded to a drop shot, so never mind. Drop shot down low on track. So maybe that push and pull fight up top is going to have to wait and be put on the back burner.
Yeah, I mean, the map now changes, right? The fight continues to kind of flow through that weapon despite the hill being up top. Looks like 4 members being sent from Fire and Ice. Only 3 being sent from the side of Quarantine. That's going to be a potentially good insight to get some early damage in, but Morty's not able to get the full kill. Look at all the members of Fire and Ice just surrounding the weapon. Fran gets 1. That incense continued to use just a little bit of damage. And I'm not sure if Morty didn't see the player there. He was walking forward with a Lancer. Crystallize very easily makes him pay. Luckily, Icy is there for the trade. So 4 members down for F&I. Advantage is going to be Quarantine early.
It's got to make them feel good. Specifically for the fact that you're going up to your least favorite fight for control over E. And with DROPSHOT now out of the way, or at least in Exploit's hands, Fire and Ice might be able to use that effectively and obviously retake E for their favor. But you've got to keep in the back of your mind the time limit, the 120 seconds for that that new drop shot, because you're going to be able, or you're going to be forced to allocate resources down low. And one of the things is, if you time it appropriately and you have control of E, you're going to get extra points. Good drop shot, though, onto Solars and Rushies, but answered quickly back by Icy. Exploits trying to even it out, takes out Icy in the meantime, and E will be locked in for F&I. A good retake, and not a moment too soon. They were down about 70 points.
Yeah, so a lot of work to do for Fire and Ice. Like you mentioned, a big lead coming through from Quarantine, and Franchise has his eyes set on a few different players. Now it's more of a question if he has enough support. You see Choche's kind of pinned up on that cover. There's a player sitting in pocket as well. So Fire and Ice pretty well set up for this push. It's going to come down to some good utility being used by Quarantine. Comes down to kind of where you place those flashes, of course, shock grenades, incense, whatever they may be. The unfortunate part is Exploits.
Yeah,
he's holding that drop shot. It's going to make it that much harder for Quarantine to get this push through.
Exploit's probably going to be used to drop right now. No, he's not. He's going to hold on to it. Franchise is going to push up. Exploits does, in fact, connect onto Icy and Rushies, and what a kill it would be if they were able to take out Franchise. That's it. That's going to be 3 down for Quarantine. A not successful push on their side. Is F&I looking to turn the odds in their favor. Now they got to focus their attention down low onto tracks, right? They've got to fight for this new drop shot. An awkward fight. Mortify able to take out Fiercely. Double trings come through. Choche takes out Mortify. In the meantime, B-God is going to go ahead and refresh with the Incen. And for the first time in round number 5, Fire and Ice is about to take the point lead.
You see Quarantine baiting out that Incend, but unfortunately Solars misses the Incend of Fire and Ice, but does not miss the Incend of Icy. A team kill comes through for Quarantine during a time where they need to kill most. A player jumps right over cover. They're not in position. Icy hits one shot, but B-God is going to get the better of him. 4 dead right now for Quarantine. These are long spawns as well. Fran gets one, but his home hill's being hit. And it looks like the members of Quarantine are choosing not to spawn back in. Morty's sitting at 0, Rush at 0, Solar's also at 0. So on the back of that drop shot, they are going to kind of chalk the round up. They had a lot of opportunity there. I think if that fight at tracks goes a little differently, right? The team kill comes through, the player jumping over cover, managed to stay alive. That could have gone a lot differently. The Fire and Ice are going to take advantage of it, right? That big double kill from Exploits was a huge catalyst.
You pointed out earlier, I don't know what it is about Fire and Ice versus Quarantine, but it's, or at least in the past, Fire and Ice versus Reciprocity, it just always amounted to a great matchup. And we're seeing just that right here. Other teams may struggle against Quarantine, a.k.a. the X-Reciprocity, but Fire and Ice seems to always have their number and do such a great job at countering their attacks. As the map continues to develop, are we going to finally have your Bull Talk in the back? We might.
I need it. I need it. There it is.
There you go. We got one. We called for 2 or 3. We'll see if that continues to develop. That's only going to help, though, Quarantine, especially for that the long range of sights, that battle for the drop shot on tracks. The Bull Talk player is going to be hugely monumental in that back line. We'll see how much of an impact he's going to be able to make as the push now will take place. Solar's going to be the man with the Bull Talk. Firing some nice shots, softening up Crystallize. Still, though, Fire and Ice able to secure a couple of kills, but you notice Franchise just absolutely decimates the team of Fire and Ice. 2 players go down. B-God, Crystallize are dropped. Fiercely very weak. Exploits weak himself.
Solars put some good damage with that Bull Talk on both players. The revive comes through. Here come the trades. Solars hits 1 shot on the Exploits. Drop shot in hand. It's going to be a big fight. He's able to take him out, but Exploits has help. B-God makes the nice rotation over advantage, favoring Fire and Ice. Now they have the 2-cap. They have that drop shot. Exploits managed to get in there and keep the weapon alive.
D&E in the hands of Fire and Ice as they look to retake control over the score lead. Fire and Ice once again set up quite nicely for a defensive setup. They know Quarantine's going to be coming in strong. Franchise will be the first one getting inside the pocket. Shock's going to be placed. That's going to stop Franchise. Well, actually it won't. Franchise pushes right through that shock. Goes back, unfortunately too weak. The shock will drop him. He'll get finished off in the end. Crystallize will be the one to take him down. Now Mortify throws his hat in the ring. He's going to go for the push. Smoke, though, unfortunately, blocking his line of sights, and that will be the catalyst to dropping him. Now you got Crystallize who pushes in onto Rushies. Quarantine doing everything in their power with the Bull Talk. Any util they have, but it's just not working. Fire and Ice doing a great job holding them at bay. The Dong's coming through, and that's going to be Fire and Ice taking it another round. Ryan, Quarantine is at risk of being eliminated from this tournament alongside UIU in semifinals.
Fire and Ice looking strong. Exploits once again leading the way. 22 with only 6 deaths. He's been making such big plays with his shotgun, with the power weapons, and everything in between. And now if you're Fire and Ice, you have one more round to punch your ticket to the grand finals. This is where the composure comes into play. This is where we need to see some big things coming through from the king himself. And if you're Quarantine, you're veterans, you've been here before, right? You'll need to chain 3 rounds in a row together. Lots to play for on both sides. All comes down to the server.
Ensign's locked out. Utility not able to be used in round 7. So no benefit on each side. The only benefit, I guess you could say, is Quarantine with that Boltok still. Maybe the Boltok be a little bit more useful off this initial. It worked out well for Quarantine last round, but can it be more beneficial here? There's a lot of blood is being spilled. Exploit's going to get dropped. Solars onto Bigot. Fiercely drops too. It's a great initial from Quarantine, to say the least. As Choche is going to be the last one up, and he's forced to back off. He's now waiting for that push onto E. He knows it's inevitably going to be coming, but with this line of sight, let's see if he can take off a couple of heads while he pushes in. He hits a nice shot onto one, but it's not going to be enough. There's just too many players from Quarantine. Fire and Ice will stay alive for the time being, but that great initial from Quarantine definitely hurt FNI.
Absolutely, and now you're going to see the Rushman himself with that drop shot. They use it almost a little offensively now, right? They still don't have the hill break just yet. It's going to finally come through. Fire and Ice going to try their best to make their push prior to the cap itself. And here's Rush waiting for his opportunity, waiting for someone to get hit by that active drop shot. Fran's going to get the kill onto Bigot. 4v5 situation now favoring the boys on Quarantine, and now they're going to try to continue to extend those resources even further. Rushies runs right back to help his teammate Franchise. Fiercely going to get caught between a rock and a hard place. Good teamwork coming through from Quarantine. Rush quickly rotates that drop right back over to the fight. Now they believe to take their lead.
Quarantine has the lead, Ryan. At this point in time, it looks as if maybe Crystallize not going to be spawning up, or Bigot. Fire and Ice might be giving up this round, and I think that's the right call.
Yeah, save your resources. You have a good-sized lead, right? You're on map point. Chances are, right, they had the 2 cap. They're building that lead. They had the drop. Chances of you kind of getting out of that fight alive weren't strong. So Fire and Ice going to go ahead and kind of just chop it up. Look at the respawns. A lot of 4s up top, a couple 4s down below as well. So both teams keeping it pretty healthy, I would say. It's going to come down to really who outplays the other. If you're Fire and Ice, you need one more round. Over on Quarantine, you got to just chain 2.
And chaining 2 isn't too far-fetched for teams such as Quarantine. The Ensigns are going to be halved out. Actually, yeah, Fire and Ice. They actually want some more utility. Different strategies on both sides. One wants Botok, one wants more utility, one wants to have the Ensign. Take it with what you will. Things have been very interesting on the overall weapon tree build-out, as FNI now could be pushing down low. Good shots from Exploits. Good line of sight instants have been picked up. Quarantine taking a little bit of a different approach, going towards mid to apply that pressure onto Choche. Choche forced to back off. Nobody really pushing too hard onto the drop as the push down will finally take place. Exploits in a great position, but he just can't connect enough shots. The trade will take place, but Bigot takes out Exploits. Hopefully that doesn't have too much of an impact for FNI. Icy's going to get dropped, fully finished off. Mortify, though, is going to pick up that drop shot, and a nice chunk is going to come through. Mortify already putting the drop shot to use on the Crystallize, and it's safe to say another great initial from Quarantine. They're looking to tie this up 4-4.
Yeah, Morty's going to give the drop shot over to Rush. Rush, one of the best drop shots we have, that's for sure. In a similar situation, right? They have the 2 cap, they have the power weapon. Fire and Ice have to make a good push, right? It comes down to that utility. The longer you can equalize that drop shot, the better. The down comes through, but the revives will be there. Now as they start to hop on the hill, Rush is going to make that an easy one. It's going to take the king out, at least for now. Fire and Ice to get the break. It's a good start.
Good size lead for Quarantine. Trying to maintain that and hold on to it. Rushies finds an opportunity to get into the cut. Still can't make that cap on E. He's been known to make the push, but so much pressure being applied. Now it's just a snub battle as he will get taken out fiercely. Goes for the finish. Franchise, though, is going to be able to get that trade. E still neutralized. Franchise gets a nice chunk onto Bigot, but quickly answered back by Crystallize. Trades after trades. More utilities going to be thrown. Crystallize feels there's an opportunity to push up. E's finally going to be locked in by FNI. That's going to give them an opportunity to chip away at the score line, which they were down about 30. But any points matter at this point, right? We're talking about 2 teams that are fighting tooth and nail to potentially make their way into grand finals, and Another great break from Quarantine. It's just constant trades. Crystallize gets a nice chunk, but quickly answered back by Icy. And Quarantine, just like that, will retake control of the E-Hill. And now you got to be thinking about that new drop shot that's going to be placed on tracks.
Yeah, Quarantine now starting to extend that lead. All eyes going to be on that weapon. You're seeing the members of Fire and Ice rotate over. Members of Quarantine trying to meet them as well. As that lead starts to extend, they have that 2 caps. Obviously, you can't just ignore the drop shot, right, Taylor? But at the same time, if you ignore the 2 cap, you're going to let the round get away from you. So it's almost a double-edged sword of kind of where you choose to move. It looks like Fire and Ice has chosen the drop shot. They got to use that as a big catalyst right now. They got to hit 2 different hills at once. Exploits does get 1 kill. Rushies was able to get one before falling. They get the break onto E. Now they find themselves on F. Exploits doing all the right things. The drop shot comes through as well. Fran and Morty, the last 2 members. Can anyone get there in time? The break does manage to come through. And now Exploits tries his best to at least stay alive. Drop shot's underway. It actually ends up getting one. Fire and Ice are still managing to keep Quarantine off the 1 hill they need. The win condition should be still favoring Quarantine, especially given that break. And now that shot grenade's going to push them off. A flashbang comes through at the very least. These members of Fire and Ice cannot push through the middle to get to the Quarantine home hill. They need to hold it for about 7 more seconds. Taylor, I don't think anyone is in position to make it there in time. Quarantine looking to hold on. No one is able to get the touch. We are headed to yet another round number 9.
Whew, that was a close one, though. If Fire and Ice had a couple more seconds, I think they would have been able to make that break for that home hill. But just a couple of seconds too short. Now we're tied up 4-4. It's a close one. Quarantine has fought back so incredibly well. And for Fire and Ice to be this close to knocking Quarantine out and securing their spot in the grand finals, it would hurt so much to lose this next round.
Yeah, a lot in the line, and we've seen comebacks come round number 1, round number 2, whatever it may be. Teams have just been clutching up left and right. Of course, both of these teams did make a change. One of them, actually both situations, actually, teams were kind of forced into a change, right? Raver left Fire and Ice for PK, and Kenny and Powers left Quarantine for UIU. So both teams kind of try to refigure out what their identity is and trying to kind of make it all happen. It all comes down to this, right? The winner of this faces Rise Nation in the grand finals. The initial is underway. The quick pick does come through. Morty gets the drop shot, but is down twice and very quickly taken out.
Oh.
Franchise now running through a bed of fire. 3 early kills looking to favor Fire and Ice. Rushy's trying to do his best to equalize the numbers. And it looks like actually no one has managed to get Franchise just yet, but the team fire from Fire and Ice is getting stronger and stronger. The kill feed is entirely red. 5v2 advantage. The only problem right now, Taylor, is the fact that Fiercely finds himself on his last life.
And they got the neutral hill, too. If they would have won that fight down on tracks, it just would have been a short jaunt over towards Delta. They would have got a trip cap and finished it off within less than a minute. Not going to be the case, but like you said, you got to, I mean, all eyes are on Fiercely, and he's been one of the main slayers. He goes down here, Fire and Ice is going to be hurting.
And right now you see Fire and Ice, they do have that drop shot over the E-Hill. We know just how strong that can be, but to me, like I said, I am looking at Fiercely. I'm trying to see where his positioning is. You see him pushed all the way to the back side of the map. Take a look at the left side of your screen. 3 members of Quarantine are sitting on 1 respawn as well, so they're not the healthiest per se on respawn economy either. But if they're able to get that kill on the Fiercely, that would be such a big play coming through for Quarantine. Their decision now comes, right? Do they push for the home hill? Do they make that OE, or do they try their best to push through the drop shot up top? And Fiercely has been spotted.
Yeah,
couple Boltox being shot across the map. Looks like some cannons flying off.
So one of the things, too, to focus on is going to be Crystallized with that drop shot. You got a couple players on Quarantine who are on lives 1 out of 4. Taking them out, forcing them to respawn on their last life would be absolutely huge.
And they get him.
Oh, Fiercely's down.
That's an okay trade. That takes Fiercely off the map permanently. So now you're going to see Quarantine kind of spread themselves on all hills. A hit marker does come through. Chochi does get the kill onto Icy. Fran trying his best to come through. There's a absolute bed of fire behind Crystallize. Can he make it out? He does hit the back A. He gets the down. The Solars is there for the revive. Crystallize is still stunned, but there's a member behind them.
The flank.
The flank comes through. Absolute mayhem across the map. Players now on their last life. It is still a permanent 5 versus 4. Quarantine doing a good job hitting all the objectives with those numbers. And this next wave of kills, Taylor, is going to be everything.
Oh, it's going to be absolutely critical. If Rushy's Franchise Mortify go down, it's going to be all evened up. But then again, you're looking at Begotten Exploits. They go down, and it brings it down exponentially for Fire and Ice in terms of manpower. Crystallized has already been silenced. He'll be spotting back up. He's going to be doing okay in terms of overall respawn economy. Drop shot goes through. It's going to be missed. Incend now. Will that connect? It does not. Solars We'll take out Choche. So now Choche, he's going to be spawning back up, but
They need to get to F.
puts more pressure on to the team of Fire and Ice, who still have the lead. Currently, they have that win condition. You're right, Quarantine. They need to get to F, and now.
That's 3 dead. It's up to Bigod and Choche. Bigod gets an Incend kill, but can anyone get there in time? Bigod's trying his best. Rushies, Bigod, they're both going to get cut off by the train. The break comes through. Quarantine, they're on F. They're going for the trip cap. Can Bigod get to the hill in time? Quarantine, they're going for the trip cap. No one from Fire and Ice is there in time, and Taylor. The grand champions clutch up once again, round number 9. They chain the 3 necessary rounds in a row, and our grand finals has now been set. It is going to be Quarantine versus Rise Nation. Incredible plays coming through. And to me, the catalyst of that round win was Mortify's getting into the spawn of Fire and Ice and taking out Fiercely while he was on his last life. Look at this series in front of you. 5-2, 5-4, 5-4.
You talk about an incredibly close series. We could have called this grand finals as it was played out, but what a good match